Okay, good morning and welcome to another video of Bet9ja odd options and what they mean. So today I'm going to be explaining about three options. So before we get to that, we have to go to the site. I normally use the old mobile Bet9ja site because it lists out the options easily and I can explain from there. But you can also use other websites, they have the same options. Okay, so you go to bet. I'll use all so that I can have a lot of options to select from, and I'll go to England. I'm going to be talking using the Premier League. By the way, if my English is incorrect or it's not sounding good to you, well, English is not my first language, but just please bear with me. Okay, let's start. I'm going to use the match Crystal Palace versus Arsenal, scheduled for 5th August 2022. So I'm going to enter into the match to list out all the options available. So in my previous video, I already talked about the correct score option, correct score multi one, correct score multi two options. So for this video, I'm going to be talking about the highest scoring half, the over under 0.5, over under 1.5, and multi-goal. So over under 1.5 is similar to over under 3.5, 4.5, and 5.5 and 5.6. So 6.6, 6.5. So let's go with the highest scoring half first. Now, for this game, Crystal Palace versus Arsenal, where you have highest scoring half, and you see first 2.95, second 2.03, and equal. The first here indicates the first half. So for this highest scoring half, if you say for the match Crystal Palace versus Arsenal, that the first half is going to have the highest goals, amount of goals scored throughout the match, then you can choose the first option, which is highlighted here in red. But if you say that the second half is going to have the highest amount of goals scored between both teams, then you can choose the second half. As if you say it is going to be in the second half, then you can choose the second half. And for the equal option, it means that both halves is going to have the same amount of goals scored. So you can choose the equal option here. Now, let me break it down in a little bit. Let's say, for example, if Crystal Palace versus Arsenal ends in 3-1 in favor of Crystal Palace in the first half, that's the total amount of goals is 4. And in the second half, you have uh, maybe the second half, you have, let's say, Arsenal equalizes, scores 2 goals, and Crystal Palace doesn't reply, and the game ends in 3-3. It means that the first half has 4 goals and the second half has just 2 goals from Arsenal. So within both halves, the first half contains the most amount of goals scored. So if you choose first for your bet option, that means the game is a good bet. But if you choose second half, if you choose second half as the highest scoring half, and with the same score line of 3-1 first half and 0-2 second half, it means that you've made a bad bet and you will lose this game, this bet. So for the equal option becomes good when, let's say, for the game Crystal Palace versus Arsenal, Crystal Palace has scores like 1-0 first half, and then In the second half, Arsenal equalizes 0-1. That means Arsenal scores one goal in the second half. It means that both halves have one goal scored. It doesn't matter which team scores. If take for example, if Crystal Palace scores one goal in first half and the second half they also score one goal, as long as each half has the same amount of goals scored, that means this equal option that you've chosen is correct. But in a chance where both halves don't have equal amount of goals scored, that means you can't choose this equal option. That means if you have chosen it before, the equal option is wrong and your bet is bad. Okay, I hope this is clear. For those who don't really understand, you can indicate in the comment section and I'll be willing to explain it further to you. Okay, let's go to the over under option. The over slash or o slash u 0.5 means that we have o is over and u is under. So when you choose over 0.5 in the match Crystal Palace versus Arsenal, it means that you expect that game to have at least a goal. That means there must be a goal regardless of who scores, whether Arsenal or Crystal Palace. If you choose under 0.5, that means you are expecting that game to be a goalless game. That means there won't be any goal at all in that game. So same thing applies for the over 1.5. Here, if you choose this over 1.5, hold on, let it alight. Mm, if you choose this over 1.5, it means that you are expecting that game to have at least two goals. What does that mean? It means regardless of what the outcome or who the winner is in the match Crystal Palace versus Arsenal, there must be at least two goals in that match, whether 1-1 or 2-0 or 0-2. As long as there are two goals, that means this your bet is correct. But in a situation where you choose under 1.5, this means that you are stating that the most amount of goals that is going to be scored in this match will be just one goal. That means it doesn't even reach two goals. It means that it is up to two goals, then it is a bad bet. But if it is under two goals, as either 0 or 1, that means the game, it is your under 1.5 is correct. Note that in the over option, you need to reach at least two goals for it to pan out. But in the under option, you must not, as the game must not end with two goals. You must be under two, which is 1 or 0. Same thing applies with the over option 3.5. This means that you are expecting that game to have more than or at least a minimum of four goals. At least a minimum of four goals. That is 3.5 it means four. It's like an approximation. But if you say under 3.5, that means you're expecting that game to have goals that are that your minimum goals under four. That means if it's up to four, it's a bad bet. But if it is below four, let's say 3, 2, 1, or 0, and the game the bet is a good bet. Same thing applies with the 4.5. This means that if you are expecting the game to have a minimum of at least over 4.5 means you're expecting the game to have a minimum of at least five goals. But if at least a minimum of at least 5 goals. But if you choose under 4.5, it means that you're expecting the game to have a minimum of at least, or it shouldn't be up to 5 goals. It should be from 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. That's what you're expecting. Same thing applies with over 5.5, which means that you're expecting the game to have over, or rather a minimum of 6 goals. And in the over 6.5, you're expecting the game to have a minimum of 7 goals. So that is the the meaning of over and under. If you still don't understand this, please, you can indicate in the comment section. When I go through it and see your questions, I will answer, or I'll make a new video to answer you. Okay, now we can go to the multi-goal. The multi-goal here means that for the game Crystal Palace versus Arsenal, you are expecting that the multi-goal 1 to 2 goals means that you're expecting that game to have the total amount of goals scored in that game to be between 1 or 2 goals. Same thing applies to the rest of the options indicated here. 1.1 to 3 means you're expecting the game to end, or the total amount of goals scored should be between 1 to 3 goals. Same thing with 1 to 4 goals, and you have 1 to 5 goals. You also have 2 to 3 goals. That means if you choose 2 to 3 goals and the game ends in 1-0, it's a bad bet. But if the game ends with 2-0, it's a good bet. If it ends in 2-1, it's a good bet. As long as the total sum of goals in a match, Crystal Palace versus Arsenal, is up to a maximum of at least 3 or a minimum of 2 goals. Same thing applies here. You are predicting that the amount of goals scored in that game should be a minimum of 2 goals and a maximum of 4 goals. So anything below the minimum or above the maximum is a bad bet. I think the same thing applies to all the other options below. I think that's it for this video. And for the next video, I'm going to be explaining the at least a half X. I always score 2 in a row, and I always score halftime. I always score second half, and I will win to nil 2 HT, and I will win to nil HT. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please subscribe, comment, and like the video. Thanks a lot. See you next.